Luke Holman produced another awesome all-round performance, but Middlesex still lost to Sussex by 3 wickets in the final over of their latest Vitality Blast match. Put in, Middlesex lost Max Holden to the third ball of the game, George Garton doing it all himself with the first of his 4 wickets. That loss was soon put to bed though by Stevie Eskenazi, who struck Mitch Claydon over the rope. The opener has been in outstanding form in this competition. No one has scored more runs than him, and he looked in good nick again. However, on this occasion he fell for 21, Delray Rawlins with the catch, which left the visitors on 32 for 2 in the 5th over. Joe Cracknell made a name for himself in the win at Kent last time out, and he simply picked up from where he'd left off in Canterbury as the power play ended with a total on 46 for 2. The youngster once more showed his class with some tremendous shots as his side tried to work out what may be a par score on this surface. Cracknell moved almost effortlessly onto 37. But that was where his knock was ended, bowled by Rawlins to his 30th delivery. Rawlins was rewarded for bowling straight again 2 balls later. James Harris, who'd come in at number 4, out for 5. Having reached the halfway point of the innings on 67 for 4, Middlesex look now to John Simpson, another who's had a terrific tournament, and he didn't disappoint. He lost Martin Anderson at the other end for 4 as Rawlins took his figures to 3 for 13 from 3. He had become a real nuisance for the visiting team. Simpson enjoyed the bowling of Danny Briggs, a second 6 for him, but the 100 did not arrive until the 15th over. As was the case in Canterbury, Simpson received excellent support from Holman, this pair finding the boundary often enough to give their side a chance of setting something close to a challenging total. Holman, a young man who's matured with each game he plays, now tucked into Ollie Robinson. 3 fours came off 3 balls, the 18th over went for 16 as the partnership between this pair moved on to 64. Simpson had made 46 when he holed out off Claydon, those runs using up 30 balls. He departed with a total on 145 for 6 with 9 deliveries remaining. Alas, the final over was not the one Middlesex wanted. Holman had a swing at Garton but missed and was on his way for a 21 ball 35. Nathan Souter followed next ball, chipping to Luke Wright as Middlesex had to settle for a final score of 155 for 8. In order to defend that, they needed a good start with the ball, but instead both Tim Murtagh and Tom Helm found Phil Salt in very good form. He raced to 24 in the first 3 overs of the chase, 32 of the runs already knocked off the target. Wickets were desperately needed, but Salt was using the middle of his bat to very good effect, his boundaries coming to all parts of the ground. He was quickly taking the game away inside the power play. With Wright also continuing his fine form with the bat, the Sharks reached 66 without loss from 6, only 90 more runs required. On came Souter, whose first over cost only 4 and saw the back of Wright for 24, Anderson holding on to give Middlesex just a tiny bit of hope. And there was more than just a little bit when Murtagh produced a stunner to bowl Rawlins. Sussex left on 75 for 2 from 8. Only 4 runs came from the next 2 overs as Souter and Holman started the squeeze. 77 were needed from 10, but Salt was still there and went to a 50 off 29 balls. Ravi Papara should have been out on 2 but was dropped and soon began to take full advantage as the Sharks were again in the pound seats. But Papara then pulled Helm to Eskenazi, who claimed a neat low catch, the batsman out for 22 with a total on 109 for 3 in the 14th. And then Holman produced a fantastic over, finishing it by bowling Salt for 56. The Sharks left to find 42 off 5 overs with 2 new men in. That became 36 off 4, and Holman, at times turning the ball square, got the huge wicket of David Visa, taken behind, and from nowhere, Middlesex were right in the mix. Then, would you believe, they were on top, Holman quite superb as he had Callum MacLeod well taken by Murtagh to finish with figures of 3 for 18. Wonderful stuff. So, with 6 men back in the hutch, Sussex needed 35 from 3, then 25 off 2, and the first ball of the penultimate over was hit for 6 by Garton, who then repeated the dose 2 balls later. Having fought back so brilliantly, the game was lost in a flash, Garton smacking Finn down the ground again. The over cost 22, and even though Harris held on at long off to remove Garton for a 24 made from 9 balls, it left Helm with only 3 runs to play with in the last over. The winning hit came with 4 balls remaining, a game which seemed to be lost, then won, and finally lost. A huge disappointment in the end. They lost by 3 wickets, and with that defeat goes the chance of qualifying for the quarter-finals. They have one final match against Hampshire to come.